Good morning, everyone, from Jeff's Little Engine Service. Yeah, check out this lawn boy. It's an all-wheel drive lawnmower, which is pretty cool. All four wheels turn, so it can really drag you up some hills. Cool mower. However, it has this on it, which is a
Kohler engine.
Every once in a while in my videos, I'll call them out for their terrible engineering. Some folks get mad when I do that, but I'm going to do it anyways. So the problem with this engine, it starts, it runs, but it doesn't shut off. So let's look into that. And as you can see, it looks like a brand new lawnmower. I don't think it's been used very much, so it's too soon to be having a problem with the engine, that's for sure. And I've encountered this before, so let me show you what's wrong. We're going to have to take off this engine cover, and you have these 3 bolts on top here. They're 10 millimeter. And on this particular model, you have to hope that you don't pull the studs out, because if the studs come out, it makes the job a lot more difficult. So hopefully these nuts will come off. So it looks like we're just going to take out all the studs. Sometimes you got to do things the hard way. So you see that the studs came out, and you can see one of the studs is actually what holds on the coil. So you're going to have to separate these studs from the nuts here to put this back on. See that thing there? That's the problem. So with most lawnmower small engines, Briggs and Stratton and Tecumseh, the kill wire from the coil just goes to ground, and then there's a switch there that switches it to ground. With this goofy engineering setup, you have this shoe. It's actually the flywheel brake. When you pull the stop cable, that takes the brake off the engine so it'll run. But when it engages, not only does it slow down the flywheel, but that little brake shoe is electrically conductive, so that's how they ground the engine. Why would you ground to the flywheel here and put in this little shoe, which wears out, by the way? And when the flywheel gets rusty or the shoe gets goo on it, you lose that electrical conductivity and it doesn't ground. And you can even see with this one, where the wire connects, it's starting to rust. So that might be the problem there, is we don't have a connection. Make sure not to lose the spacer here. And you have spacers on all the other bolts too, by the way. So we're going to have to clean off this connection and clean off the flywheel a little bit here so we can get a better ground with this stupid idea from Kohler with the putting the ground through the brake shoe here. You can see each of these studs also has a spacer on there. So we'll have to make sure this stud stayed in place, but we will have to make sure that it's tightened down and that the coil is still gapped correctly. So I guess for now we just need to take off the nuts here and clean off the wire and the connection to make sure the ground is good there. And of course, you cannot buy just the shoe, even though it comes off. Kohler makes you buy this whole mechanism. That's how Kohler does it, folks.
It's crap.
Try a longer extension here. There we go. Don't lose that. Yeah, it's a little rusty on there. Looks like you have a little spacer here also. And if you push the handle down here, you can see it opens that mechanism and you can take this off. Maybe. Oh yeah, I can get it out of there. So that's what we got here. Looks like there's a spacer on the back side as well. Kohler won't sell you just this part. They try to sell you this whole mechanism. Because this does wear out. This one, surprisingly, looks pretty thin. So I don't know if it'll still work or not after we clean everything up. So I'm going to scuff up this inner surface here. Make sure there's no sludge on there that's preventing a good connection. You can see a little mark there. Certainly looks like it's getting thin, but we'll see if it still works.
Damn you, Kohler.
I'm also going to sand the flywheel real good. It's pretty rusty, so that definitely could have been the problem too. So this rust is pretty thick on here, so I'm switching to a brass brush. Yeah, I don't know, that rust is on there, man. After I'm done doing this, I'm gonna put some I don't know, something on there. Maybe PB Blaster to try to keep it from rusting again. But this problem's just going to occur again. Alright, so I cleaned it up the best I could. And I put a little light layer of lube on here and wiped it off just to try and prevent the rust from coming back so quickly. There we go. So when you put this back together, make sure that the bolts are centered through the holes, because that little plastic backing plate has some indentations, so it has to be centered to be installed correctly. And then this piece, you can see it also has the same little indentations that go in this way. Nuts back on here. So I guess we're gonna have to get these studs apart. There's no real easy way to do this. Just have a 10mm here that you have to hold in place, and get to the other side here with your other 10mm and try to break them free. There's one. All right. Remember, you have the spacers in here, so don't lose those. You know, it looks like they put red Loctite on these to try and hold them in place. I guess we'll do that.
Hey, Kohler, the Loctite isn't working.
Looks like that one stayed tight, so we're not going to have to adjust the coil. Oops. Dang it. You always got to have one of these around the shop. Magnet. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of dielectric grease to everything. Put it on the connector here and the nuts and bolts. Put the wire back on here. I'm going to grease up these nuts. Don't want these things rusting again, so we're going to grease them up. Dielectric grease is what it's called. That's right. All right, let's hope that that fixed it. All right, we're about ready to test this baby out. All right, so I turned it around so the exhaust fumes won't go into the garage. Keep our fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Well, it seems to work, but it's still making a lot of noise. That flywheel isn't smooth. Well, there you go. I think she's fixed. As fixed as a Kohler engine can be. Thanks for watching, folks.